Hello, everybody. I am reaching out to you today so we can have a conversation around my vision for what better communication will look like moving forward in our society, let alone our own lives. Now, when you leave this video today, I think you'll be very clear on how you can conversate with people where you will walk away and have both of you feel that the other one really heard you and that there was a connection. Right. A little bit about me before we get too much deeper into this. My name is Jesse Mogle. I'm the host of two podcasts, From Sobriety to Recovery and College Success Habits. My best-selling book right up there is of the same name as the College Success Habits podcast. And of course, you can find that on Amazon. Shameless plug. I'm an NLP master trainer. I'm a coach, business coach, speaker, author, the whole deal. I really love talking about communication because for so many of us, we know that it's more than just the words that we use, but we don't really concentrate on what that means. And so today we're going to have a conversation around that. And we're going to make this really bite-sized for you so that you can take some of this and you can go off and you can immediately put it into your lives, because this doesn't need to be an hour-long conversation. I want you to learn right now and be able to go off and implement it and practice it. So when you think about why you would want to have better communication skills, think about in your loved ones, think about in your own home. Each time your partner or your kids come back from school or work or wherever they've been, that's an opportunity to reestablish a rapport, right? We often think that because somebody lives in the house with us, because somebody's around us all the time, that there's instantaneous rapport. Each morning, rapport is restarted. Of course, rapport from the previous day is coming along with, but there's also that opportunity to make the connection stronger. And when your kids walk in or your partner walks in, do you have the know-how to really connect with them right out of the gate so that they can feel welcomed back in the home, so they can be ready to communicate with you about how their day's been? And are you ready to communicate with them on how your day has been? Another reason why learning better communication skills is so important is because we often think that it's just the words that were used, but we don't think about the tonality that's also coming into play. Have you ever apologized to somebody and they're like, "Yeah, I heard the words, but I didn't. It wasn't how it wasn't what you said. It was how you said it." What? I'm sorry. No. What? I'm sorry. That is not going to convince somebody that you're actually sorry. So understanding how your voice and the way you inflect it and the volume and the way you might pitch on a certain word, or the way you might say, "I'm sorry," versus "I'm sorry," right? There's a major difference there, right? So imagine a world where the moment somebody got around you, you were able to build instantaneous rapport. And you were able to do this through your body language, through the tone of your voice. And then last but certainly not least is the words, because after all, whether you're talking on a phone or via FaceTime or Zoom like we are now, or you're in person, words are going to come into play. So what are better forms of communication? What is that going to look like moving forward in this conversation and then out in the real world where you're going to take all of this and go and use it? Well, there's going to be three major parts that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about physiology, tonality, and the words that we use, right? Because this is how you establish rapport. And rapport is just a level of responsiveness you have with someone, right? Where you get that feeling inside that you really like them, right? And for those of you who are thinking about your loved ones right now, obviously you love them, but there's often times where you feel like you're not in rapport with them, where you walk away and you're like, I don't really feel like they heard me. I don't really feel like we were on the same page just now. That's because you hadn't established rapport. We often assume that it's going to come naturally with the people that we know, trust, and love the most, but those are actually the ones that we need to be working on rapport with the most often. So physiology, that's your body language, right? You've got your tonality, that's the way your voice is going to sound. And then of course you've got your words, which is your words. All right. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, when you think, okay, Jesse, how can I use my physiology to build rapport with people in my own house? And we're going to run with that example today. You can be thinking about this in terms of your coworkers or in terms of the butcher at the grocery store. But is there still a butcher at most grocery stores? It's not Mayberry, but there's a guy back there with a big saw, right? So there's an opportunity to build rapport with anyone at any point in time, no matter where you're at, whether you're in person, virtual, online, social media, LinkedIn, it doesn't matter, Facebook, you can still be building rapport. Physiology may not come into play as much, but there's still rapport building to be done. So when we think about in person, right, when we think about via Zoom right now, What is my physiology saying to you? My hands are definitely saying that I'm excited right now. I'm sitting up straight. I'm not too slouched like that. I've got a pretty good posture going. And, for most people, that would say I'm taking this seriously and I'm really paying attention to what I'm saying and the energy that I'm exuding. Right? Your physiology has a lot to do with your energy too. Are you bringing it out in a loving manner? Or are you contracting it in as if you're like you're shy or you're embracing for some sort of negativity? So when you think of your physiology, think about how your body is looking in comparison to the person that you're looking to build rapport with. In the psychology, pseudoscience that is NLP, and I meant psychology and the fact that this has been studied by psychologists, we know that in order to build rapport with someone, you want to match what it is that they're doing. Okay. And so when you think about matching your physiology, are they leaning back? Now, the act of leaning back doesn't mean you need to lean back with them. That's a little too mimicky. And mimicking somebody is insulting. What they've really done is they've just shifted their body weight back and they've leaned back. But you could shift your body weight forward. You could lean forward as well. Are you hanging out in the kitchen and having a conversation? Are they leaning up on the island bar, right? Then you could be leaning up on the island bar too. Are their hands fidgeting with something? Then your hands could be fidgeting with something. Are they standing up straight but shifting their weight back and forth from foot to foot? You could also be standing up straight, shifting your weight back and forth, foot to foot. Right? These are some of the easier ways that you can start to manifest the physiology aspect of building rapport. Right? Hand gestures are another great opportunity. Blinking rate and breathing rate are also really great opportunities to build rapport, but those are a little bit next level for some people because paying attention to what somebody's doing with their eyes or how fast their chest is going up and down can actually take you out of being present in the conversation. And we don't want you to do that. So just for now, when you think about building rapport with someone, think about your posture, think about your hand gestures, and think about where you're shifting your weight. Are they sitting down in a chair with their legs crossed? You could be sitting down in your chair with the legs crossed as well. If their legs at a 90-degree angle and they've got one foot over the quadricep and their legs are sort of making a 4, doesn't mean that's how you have to cross your legs. Right? You could just merely stretch them out and cross them. You could cross your arms while their legs are crossed. Like it's those little subtle differences that actually build rapport. And so when you think about your physiology, just look at ways that you can also match what it is that they're doing. And when you do this, then you start to feel rapport with someone. And when you feel rapport, it begins to actually happen. And there won't be this butting of heads. Okay, let's think about the second thing that I mentioned, tonality. Now, what is tonality? It's your voice. It's everything that happens with your voice. So it could be really, really high like this or really low like that. It could be really gravelly like Louis Armstrong when I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Or it could be really soft, smooth, almost like you're a disc jockey for a station that only plays Enya. Is your volume really loud or is your volume really low? Right? What's the speed of your voice? Are you talking really, really fast? Are you talking slowly? As if you're tasting each word before it comes out of your mouth. When you think about your tonality, these are the things that you can be looking at. These are the things that you can be thinking about. So whenever you're going up, your kids walk in that day, are they talking low? Are they talking high? Is their volume low or high? Do they feel like, is there an emotion behind it? We all know what it sounds like when somebody's holding back emotions, right? Oftentimes when your kids are coming into the room, or, it can be anyone, but I would keep going back to the kid thing because I feel like a lot of my friends with children have a hard time building rapport with them when they first get home from school. They have just been in a zoo of different personalities. And depending on where they fall on the popularity scale, and heaven forbid that still exists, but we know it does, they might have come home and been bullied a little bit or been picked on or done something embarrassing. Or they might have been the bully, or they might have watched somebody do something embarrassing. Like you just don't know where they're coming when they arrive back into the house or when they get back into your car. So because physiology may not be something that you can really match while you're driving, although there's still certain things that you can be doing with your body, and you'll notice those, just start to match what your child is doing. But you can also be matching the tone of their voice. So if they're really excited, be really excited back. Oh my God, it's so awesome. If they're really slow and low talking, oh, what's going on, kiddo? What happened at school today? And of course, asking extremely specific questions instead of just what happened at school today. Did something happen with a friend? Did somebody at school pick on you? Something happened in science class? I know you were studying for that test, but you can be using the right kind of questions in tandem with the tonality of your voice. So be thinking low, high, fast, slow, gravelly or smooth. Think about these different things. Fast talking versus slow talking, right? Definitely be able to match that with your child, and they'll immediately feel that you're bonding with them. Same with your spouse, your loved ones, people in your family, coworkers. You can be using this with them as well. And then last but not least, it's the words. Now, when this is all broken down on the pamphlets and the handouts I give when I teach this, physiology is 55% of the communication and rapport building. Tonality is 38%, and that leaves 7% for words, right? Like I just mentioned, it's not what you said, it's how you said it, right? Actions speak louder than words. Now, all that being said and all that being what it is, ultimately, if you're having a conversation over the phone, physiology doesn't play a part. So now you're looking at just your words and your tonality that make up 100% of the entire conversation. Although, think about this, I've definitely worked in a call center back in college, and they would have us get up on our feet and pace back and forth because there was a different energy you have rather than just sitting down. So while the other person across the line may not necessarily see what you're doing physiologically with your body, getting up and moving around is definitely a way to change the energy that you exude through the phone. But back to what I was saying before, when you are just having a voice conversation, you literally are looking at tonality and words playing the majority of what is happening between the two of you. So what kind of words are you using? Right. Without getting too deep into this, I'll let you know that there are words that people use that are based off of feelings, what how they feel in that moment, that the sense of touch. There's words based off the sense of touch and feeling. There's also words based off of hearing, right? So people who enjoy, who are very auditory, who love music or love to sing, or the people who really are sensitive to sounds, even those people tend to be more auditory, right? Whereas the people who are more feely and touchy, we call them kinesthetic in the NLP world, right? They're kinesthetic, they feel things, right? Their bodies are sensitive to clothes. They like to hug and they like to touch, right? They might really be mesmerized by the smoothness of your countertop and not the shininess of the refrigerator. Those who like shininess of the refrigerators are visual people, and they're going to be using visual words. So when the child comes home, ask him a question, ask him something like, so how did school feel today? How did fourth grade sound, or how did fourth period sound today? What was your best friend Jennifer wearing to school today, right? Call up something that has something to do with feeling words, hearing words, or seeing words, and see how they respond back to you. And when they do that, you can then say, oh, okay, they're feeling a little visual right now, or they're feeling a little auditory right now, or they're feeling kinesthetic. And then where they're feeling things. They might be a little bit more sensitive to you going for a hug if they're in a deep kinesthetic, or they may walk in and really need a kinesthetic hug right then and there at that moment. But knowing these different ways that you can use words will help you make that 7% count as much as possible. Because when your child walks into the room, when your partner walks into the room and they're slouched over like that, and they're talking really low like this, their body language and their tonality are telling you that things did not go well that day. If you can then use words that tap into what it is that they're actually feeling in that moment, they are going to feel deep connection and amazing rapport with you. So be listening for words that have to do with feelings, right? The kinesthetic, the wanting to touch. Let me think of ways that you could begin to harness this. It won't always have to do with emotions, because people will talk about emotions with auditory and visual as well, but they'll definitely use words that have more of a feeling sense to it. Like, she just couldn't get a grip on what I was saying. And I don't understand why I explained it so well. Why couldn't she get a grasp on it? What's so hard about that? Hard, grasp, grip, those are kinesthetic. Those are things that you would do with your body, right? She just sat down right in the middle of what I was saying, right? That's an act of the body. That's a kinesthetic kind of feeling to it. Auditory, they'll be using words like, I asked him, he just wasn't listening. I just don't think he hears me. No matter how much I talk to him, it just seems like nothing I say resonates. Those are hearing words. So be listening for those. And when you're trying to discover and see if somebody's being visual, expect to hear words like, look, I don't know why you can't see it the way that I see it. I'm trying to paint you a view of what it is that I'm noticing, and why you can't seem to envision what it is I so clearly see is beyond me, right? There you go. There's a ton of visual words for you to use. You've got look and see and envision and clear and view. Okay, so those can be making up your other 7%. So now, in summary, because I know I've gone over some pretty great stuff right here, you've got rapport. And how you build that is through 3 key components: physiology, tonality, and your words. Okay, physiology 55%, tonality 38%, and your words are the other 7%. All right, in summary, on physiology, we're looking for gestures. We're looking for where our body weight is shifting, are our arms crossed, what's our posture look like. Be thinking about these when you're looking to match somebody's physiology. When you're looking to match tonality in building rapport, listen for the volume of their voice. Listen, is it smooth or is it gravelly? Is it high or is it low? Is it talking really fast like this because I'm really excited? Or is it talking really slow because today was such a tough day at school? Right? Be listening for those tonalities and then match those back so that you can really slide into that deep rapport with the person in front of you. And last but certainly not least is the words. Be listening for kinesthetic, feeling words, right? They just don't feel me. No matter how, they can't get a grip on it. They can't get a grasp on it. What I was talking about was concrete, but they were over here, bantering back and forth. I'm trying to have a difficult conversation. What's so hard about that? These are all kinesthetic words. Hear, listen, resonate, ask, discuss. Those are auditory words. And visual words, those are pretty simple. Look, see, envision, clear, view. So be looking for those and then match those as well. You take these 3 components and you begin to put them into practice, and I can assure you, you will build the most amazing rapport with those that are the closest to you, those that you love the most. Do not think that just because somebody lives in the same house as you, that you're always in rapport with them. That is not the way that it works. Every moment they walk away and re-enter a room with you, it's another opportunity to reestablish rapport. Now, obviously, if they walked into the other room to grab a soda and then they came back, probably not so much rapport needing to be rebuilt right then. But if it's getting up in the morning, be looking for ways to build rapport first thing in the morning, and come back and tell me that wasn't an amazing day of communication between the two of you. All right, that's it. This has been a little communication conversation with Jesse Mogle. As always, find me on social media at Jesse Mogle, at From Sobriety to Recovery. Google Jesse Mogle. I'm the only one on the planet. I am not hard to find. Until we meet again, y'all have a great day. And as always, the power of positive energy, release and flow. Have a great day. Inclusivity over exclusivity. Bye-bye.